Hello, folks. What is today? Wednesday. Oh my. Let me add. Where's Ivory?
Yeah.
Hey, friend.
Hey, hold on
How
one
are
second.
you?
I'm good. How are
I
you?
can't. Let me turn this up.
OG just sent me a question and asked, "What do I think about the OMI TV?" Well, OMI TV is an app. It's not a monitored app. It's not an app where you need ID to get on. It's not one that verifies ages or
Thank you for the
identification.
gift.
It's literally, and everyone's like, well, it says 18 and over, but it doesn't verify any information. You can literally just go on OMI TV at 12, and they're going to be like, well, you said you're 18, we'll trust you. It is. It is the new Amigo. And I think that is
Yeah, it's
for
a
predators.
predatory.
Money
It's
in it.
an
Yeah.
app for predators.
So you can't
And
make money off the app. So why are they there? What are they on there for? What's
and
their purpose?
that app is literally known to lure kids onto other apps to talk.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. And they were talking to kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like this same woman, I need everyone to stop and think for a second. This is the same woman that was out there. I feel like my screen is really like looking fuzzy.
No,
This
the
is the
AI
same
picture.
that was
That's
out there, huh?
the AI picture for one.
Yeah, this is the same
The
woman.
police report with what she said she would do to a minor child.
Yep, yep. I mean, think about it. So, yeah,
The only, the only issue with even anything being done about it is that she was never charged for that type of crime.
right. And she
And
should have been.
there's so many nuances with that, with her not actually having, yeah, it's on paper, it's documented, but it was never pursued.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
hmm,
Um, but it's definitely given Dateline. I mean,
yeah, yeah. I mean, what were they on there doing? Ken was picking his lips, looking at teenagers. That's what I'm saying. And I've seen all of the comments, guys. Oh, he's on. It's a gaming app, and he's on there, for gaming or whatever. But first of all, let's be real.
did they look
Why?
like
You're
they
a
were
whole grown
gaming?
ass. No, and you're a whole grown ass man. Why are you sitting on this app that you can't? And again, it's not like, oh, she's a creator and she's trying to make money. This is not an app you can make money off of, guys. It's just an app where you, and a cat here all in my face. It's just an app where you sit there and you literally talk to people like
That's
you
very
make
concerning.
apps. Why that one? Why that one? So yeah, it's really concerning. It makes them look like predators. Well, we know she's one, right? In my
I
opinion,
was gonna say
allegedly.
make them look. I mean, she's done enough that I feel like is very clear.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. She literally found a man to unalive her mother. Thank you for the follow, Jamie. Literally found a man to unalive her mother online. And now you're sitting there on this app with your man talking to kids. What are you talking about? And what can you possibly talk to these kids about? You know what, Superman Sue? I don't know why they are letting her get away with this. It's because they don't want to deal with it. Her PO does not want to deal with it. Parole just wants to let her go. They don't want her to be their problem anymore. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I don't know why you're not getting reminders. I feel like a lot of people have been saying they're not getting notified when I'm on. I don't
Yeah,
know.
TikTok has been really weird. Thank you for
Yeah,
the gifts, everyone.
yeah.
No, TikTok has
Ken has
been
had
really
that
weird
account.
lately. For how long?
You have a delay. I just caught it.
It always does. That's why it sounds like we're talking over each other half the time because we're not. But it always does. That's why it sounds like we're talking over each other half the time because we're not. but it's
If someone just said that Ken has been on there for years, well, isn't that concerning? I mean, think about it. It's a little concerning to me.
all right.
How long has he been
If
a
we're
predator?
real
I'm
about
just
it,
saying.
but if we're real about it, when he reached out to Gypsy, she looked like a minor.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to
Thank
say.
you, Christine, for the follow. Yeah. I mean, really?
Thank you for the gift. It's just
And that
me.
was predatory behavior. That was predatory behavior, just going after her, knowing that she looked like a child. When she got picked up, she looked like a child. Think about that. When she was in court and all that stuff was going on the news, she looked like a child. She looked like, in
Yeah,
fact,
I
she
mean,
looked like
if
a
we're
little
gonna
boy.
be
I'm just
fair,
saying.
hmm yeah,
In
yeah, I
fact, she
mean,
looked like
if
a
we're
little
gonna
boy.
be
I'm just
fair,
saying.
hmm yeah, I mean, what I wanted to talk about tonight is this Diddy trial.
Trial?
It's
Guys,
been
put
like
one in the
coming
chat
in.
if you guys ever want to.
Hey, Ginger, thank
Thank you,
you.
Magda. Not since Cassie. Man, her testimony, her walking in that courtroom pregnant as hell and giving her testimony
Did you know that they
was the
had her
perfect
come
start to
in
that trial.
and sit before the jury was seated because Diddy didn't want her to look like visibly pregnant. Obviously, I'm sure they still saw it.
Are
I
you
read that,
serious? I
and I
didn't
was
know that.
shocked. Yes, I read that on, was it ABC or TMZ? And I was like, I don't think people really realize that, but it's obvious she was very pregnant because you could just tell. Like, I just don't think, but you know what? I thought her testimony was going to be the one to change everything, and it wasn't hers.
No. Well, you know whose testimony I
It
think
was
really had
Capricorn,
that,
Kid Cudi.
and it was Cassie's mother. No, I think the
Yes,
extortion and
yes. I think
Cassie's
that was the turn. Yeah.
made a big deal because here's this older woman,
hmm
not trying to be in the drama. They had to put, I mean, literally mortgage their house to get that money. And this woman had no dog in the fight. Like, let's be real. No reason to make that nonsense up. I feel
Right.
like, yeah, it's
And
Cassie's
I
mom,
think
but
what also,
yes, Mercy.
also what I think made it very different was the fact that she said she had to take a home equity loan out to pay Diddy. And I feel like that humanized her and showed that she came from a regular, ordinary family and they didn't have it like that, and they didn't have it like that, and put themselves on the line and their home on the line to ensure her safety. I do think her mom but I think Kid Cudi really did too because he didn't say much. And you know what?
Yeah.
The defense didn't cross-examine Regina Ventura. That was very interesting to me.
Yeah, how do you not cross-examine a witness? I don't care if you've got nothing, make something up. I mean, just start answering questions you already know the answers to. Make something up. Make something up.
No,
Make
I'm
it
gonna
look
start
good. Because for you
confusing
to
you.
sit,
Yeah, I'm gonna start confusing.
yeah.
I'm gonna start throwing
Yes.
golf balls in there, like because now at this point
But
I
no,
just need to confuse you.
but you know why that happened, right? Is because Diddy didn't want them to.
hmm
He was
He
the
closed
one.
the
He
show.
told them, why is he doing that to himself? He's so narcissistic. He's literally not even listening to his lawyers and hurting himself in this whole thing. It's the narcissism. It's wild. It's absolutely wild.
If he was that smart, he would realize if you were so good with being a defense, why the hell are you here?
Right. Yeah. Yep. Thank you, Buzzy. Man, I know that it's still in the air, right? We know that Diddy's lawyers do not want him to testify. But how many people in the chats think that Diddy is so narcissistic, he's going to testify? He is absolutely not walking away from that.
95%, but actually more than that, believe he'll testify. Just because he thinks he could control the narrative. And when you're dealing with people that are that narcissistic, that believe that they can control the narrative, they feel like, just put me in front of someone, I can make it happen. So I definitely could see it. Yeah, I definitely could. It's dumb, but you know what? I can't say that because he really has nothing to lose.
Right. That's true.
Right?
He doesn't.
Right?
Right.
So in the grand scheme of things, I mean, could it get worse? But I don't know if I would testify just in case I won an appeal.
Yeah. He's going to tell you. Ever seen, what was the movie? You Can't Handle the Truth, the one with Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
You know what movie I'm talking about, where the guy was so narcissistic? He just set him up because he wanted to tell people.
What's the name of the movie?
That he did it? Yo, what movie? A Few Good Men. Yes, Shell Bell. That's exactly what I see happening with Diddy, because he's so narcissistic. He wants to tell these people, I did that because I'm Diddy. So I feel like that's going to set him up.
I think there's a lot of pressure on the jury, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because one of the common things that you've been hearing through this trial is that people were scared for their lives.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And rightfully so.
You don't want to let someone out that you know is this violent criminal that will actually get other people to do their dirt, because that and the amount of money he has creates more issues. And you know, money's power, and money can get a lot of people to do a lot of things. And I think there are still a lot of witnesses that don't want to speak up because their fear is that if he ever does get out, or who he'll pay to do what. Because for the judge to say, you have tampered with witnesses, and that is the reason why I don't want to let you out.
Yeah.
On a bond?
Yep. Yep. And I agree with you. I really thought that he thought if he turned himself in, that they would let him
absolutely
out.
thought that. He absolutely thought him turning himself in would have given him a run up as far as a bond, which I find kind of baffling, considering it's already been known that Diddy was this controlling, threatened everybody, had allegedly hitmen on payroll.
Yeah.
Like, it was already alleged, all those things, right? And considering what we know, just imagine what they know. And
Yeah.
there's a few things I want to mention. Think about the fact that they seized 100 devices. 100 devices. How many old cell phones is that? That I'm just curious. Is it 10? Is it 9?
Phones, tablets, laptops, computers, cameras, SD cards, all of it.
And what's
all
on
of
it?
it.
Because think about it this way. The last phone that you had, do you remember what was on there?
No.
And
No, I don't know what's on my phone right now.
And I don't say I never said this to y'all. I would venture to say that when the prosecution said that additional charges may be added, I think maybe it has something to do with Kim Porter. And I also think it's very interesting that Kei D's trial was supposed to be in March,
And
and they
put it off.
postponed it till February of 2026. Now,
Yeah.
one thing that I feel like is really worth noting is just the simple fact that Kei D told Nevada police what happened back when this first happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on record, it's recorded. Why did they not pick him up since over a decade later?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
They're waiting. Now, Mercy
For them to
said
postpone that
about the
trial just
involvement.
makes me think that there's some state charges coming too.
Mercy just said, what do you think about the involvement with Tupac? Do you think that's coming out?
Yeah, I think that no, because that's Kei D.
Yeah.
But that's for what is that? Because it's I think allegedly he had it was for Suge's head
Mm-hmm.
and Biggie's head and Tupac, or I
Yep.
think it was no Biggie and Tupac. Yes, because they were supposed to actually be unalive the same day.
Yes.
They were a year apart because something happened with where they were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you think about that and the fact that Kei D's trial was pushed off a year, and what the reason why they said they pushed it off is because they said they needed to investigate some more and speak to more witnesses. I thought y'all had this cat in the bag.
That's what I'm saying, because they know more witnesses are going to come out as we go along. I feel like but
Those
people are
devices
scared. Rightfully
probably have
scared.
proof. Those devices, I could bet money that because he's such a narcissist, there has been communication on those devices about those crimes.
And that's why he still had them. Who keeps 100 old devices?
But who actually records everything that they do to blackmail
Narcissist.
someone to
Yeah.
only have it used in your own trial?
That's what, because he never
Thank
thought
you.
he was going to get, he never thought that he was
No,
getting
he
picked up
didn't.
for this. He never thought he was getting charged. He's Diddy. What are you talking about? Diddy ain't going down for shit. That's exactly what he thought. That's exactly what
Yep.
he thought.
Yep. So that's interesting to me too when you think about that. But I also think what's really interesting as well is that I feel like Kim Porter's friends and family have been gaslit. The only person I don't think has been gaslit or hasn't been convinced is Kamora Simmons.
Yeah.
She knows what's up. But that makes you wonder, is anything going to happen with Run DMC?
That's a question.
Because he's not, I think they're trying him by himself. And he's the only person that they've like kind of sort of looked into allegedly. But I think that they have had, they literally had the map, but they want to get him first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Allie.
They have to get him first.
Oh, cats. Why did I thought I saw Allie. You see what I'm
feel
saying? Like
yeah.
there had to have been conversations. Those devices, I think, is going to tie into everything, which is why I think a lot of people kept saying, well, this is not really looking like RICO. Why do they have all these witnesses speaking about abuse? I think they really only did it to kind of set the stage for like a character type of thing.
They had to
Because
show who he was. They had to show.
exactly. Because at that point, once they did that, the jury kind of already didn't like him, right? So that's already one hurdle.
It made everything else that's about to come down the pike believable, because look what he did. Look how he treats people. Look at there's no respect for human at all. Like,
Right.
yeah, absolutely. All cats are beautiful. This is a fire.
Right. I think that's the main reason, because whatever testimonies they said, and I think another reason why they didn't throw out Kid Cudi statements is because them devices tell the truth. And one thing I think was interesting was when Capricorn said that he said straight up he was going to unalive him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the fact that she said on her first day, he said, like, if you do anything crazy, I'll throw you into the East River. Like, that was making it very clear. Play with me if you want to. You won't be walking this earth. Like, he made that very clear. And I feel like that's why when people say, why did she keep going back? If somebody already said, play with me if you want to, why would I not go back? I'm going to be scared. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to choose to go back. Especially knowing, I also think a lot of people really don't understand the amount of power he has. Like, I think it's like unfathomable. Okay. Why am I know it's a tongue twister for me. I think that's simply because it sounds like, well, how could someone just be like, okay, you know what? I don't like this person. End it. Like, that sounds like a movie, right? It sounds like The Godfather. It doesn't sound like like this is legit and it's been known. So I feel like someone could easily say, well, why wouldn't she? You know, you have a family, you have kids, you have, like, are you really going to put all of that in jeopardy? No, you're going to just say, all right, well, because I saw somebody say, call the police. You think he have some of them on payroll?
He had all of them on payroll. Let's be real. He wouldn't have, he's been getting away with shit for years. Come on.
You can think about the fact that he got away with the stuff that happened with J-Lo and Shine. The girl who it happened to said it wasn't Shine. Yet Shine still served 9 years. So would you really, really say, no, I'm going to just walk away? That's not realistic.
No. Nope. You know what I thought was really surprising? Was they showed the Cassie video.
Okay, so you know that he paid to have that eradicated. I also think he had a copy at his house, but Cassie had her own copy, and that's what the Fed saw.
Yes. And then you know what? It makes it even worse was what did he do after that video was released?
Yes. So that could go both ways, right? It could. I'm going to tell you why.
I just feel like that still adds into who he was. It doesn't matter.
No, it does show.
It doesn't matter that you took accountability. It showed who you were in that moment. That was really.
You have to think about the jury pool.
Yeah.
8 men and 4 women. So the opinion is going to heavily rely on men's perception.
Right.
So I think.
I feel like that men's perception can go either way because, I mean, there are some men that are like, let's be real, there are men out there that like, slap her around a bit. You know what I mean?
But generally, they would not have went so public with that, right?
Right.
And I think his only reason for going that public is because he knew it could get wild. But I think that really kind of harmed him more than anything else.
He did.
And he should have said, like, if he's so narcissistic that it took for Cassie to sue him, file it in court, in civil court, before he settled that day.
Yeah.
So that tells you he didn't think to himself, okay, whatever she's asking for, let me give it to her, because if this gets filed in a civil court, I don't know what the feds are going to do with this. No, he was like, I'm good. And remember, the mayor gave him keys to the city, so he thought he was running New York.
Yep.
He didn't see that coming.
No, he didn't. I don't know. I just feel like They're saying this case is going to run out until what, July? They're expecting a July. I feel like there's no way they're getting it all done that quickly.
Well, that's going to be hard only because of the stuff on the devices, right? And also the testimonies. I think.
Well, when did they come in with that, though? Because I need to know what's on those devices. You don't understand. Just skip to that part. I need to know.
But I feel like, call me crazy, but I feel like they're holding out on charges.
Oh, hell yeah. If this all goes south and he
that's why they didn't do the extortion.
Yes. Again. They're not letting them walk away from this.
And I honestly think that's why the Tupac Kei D's got postponed to the February 2026 because he would get state charges. And he wouldn't even get good out of that federal building before they issue their warrant. Believe that. The feds know they're going to get him one way or another. They like, baby, just know we have you.
Think about what's going to happen if he gets out and they don't pick him back up again. If he gets out.
Girl, he going to be in Bali with Russell Simmons.
The body count that's going to come out. The people going missing.
First of all, Diddy already...
Pneumonia that's going to happen all over.
Why does everybody get pneumonia? That is not a common thing to die of.
Pneumonia.
Why does everybody get pneumonia?
All these young, otherwise healthy people dying of pneumonia? Yep, because of cyanide.
That is not normal. That is not... Like, dying of pneumonia is not common. So when you see that, that should be an automatic... especially at the age and the corner that did Kim Porter, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, all of them, and he's not alive anymore by natural causes.
Pneumonia? Let me guess. You gotta wonder.
Like, really make that make sense.
Do you think they'll call Usher and Bieber?
Bieber already said he is not going to testify.
But does he have a choice? I mean, you can subpoena somebody.
I think it's going to be very hard because I feel like he's not going to say much. The only reason I say that is because I feel like he has a lot of loyalty. Like, that's the abuser. He was very young. Think about it. He was hanging with Diddy at like 14.
He was a baby. Yeah.
You know, like when you think about that, like he might, in his mind, he might say to himself, he did abuse me, but look where I am at today. I wouldn't be here. You know, they play that, it's very manipulative. And I think that it's like people that do something to you, but then they're nice to you. And then you're kind of like, maybe it was a mistake. Maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe, you know, because you're like, well, look, like if he didn't care, how would I get here? Or why would he have? So I feel like the catch is going to be for Bieber if he's going to be willing to really say something. Now, Usher, I think that's a double-edged sword, though. Because Usher allowed Diddy to do the same thing to Bieber, knowing what happened to him. So that's a double-edged sword. Now, Bieber, I think he's more in the clear because he was so young. But I think Bieber's parents need to be charged.
I think they do, too.
Because his mom said she knew what happened in the industry. So you still allowed your son to go.
Yeah, fame and money meant that much. That's wild. But I feel like
now your son is strung out as an adult because he can't handle the trauma that he went through.
He's not. I think he would off himself if he got called. I think it would be too much for him.
Yeah, he doesn't. I think that's even why he's on now, because he can't wrap his mind around. Because also, I don't know if you saw this, but right before Diddy got locked up, he saw Bieber. It was like in a parking lot somewhere.
No, I didn't know that.
And him and Bieber had a conversation in a parking lot.
Oh,
So who even knows what that?
yeah. Wow.
And even when he had that interview, when you saw him with that guy,
Mm-hmm.
he looked so devastated and he looked so broken and he looked so
Yeah.
like he couldn't even find the words to express the way he was feeling. And I also think something that's really worth noting is even when boys are abused, a lot of times society doesn't see it as abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's probably a very hard topic for any male, especially that was that young, being abused, allegedly, um, to have that conversation. So I'm not even really sure if it's something that he can emotionally have that
Handle.
conversation
No, not at all.
or even
No,
say the
not at all.
word.
I feel like that one, I don't know, that breaks my heart. Bieber breaks my heart because, like you just said, like if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I am today. But does he want to be here today? Does he want to be where he's at today? Look at everything that happened to him.
Well,
Then for 1 second, he wouldn't trade it all in to just be some normal person and go back and do it again as a normal person. I think he'd give it up in a heartbeat. I
yep.
think now he's stuck where he's at. He can't leave. He can't get out of it. And yeah, that's kind of sad. Thank you for the follow, Justin.
So I think that, but I think that if he did testify, that would be a very damning testimony because you would see a man get on the stage and break down.
Yeah.
That would be, I think that would be the nail in the coffin. Although I think Capricorn's testimony was very impactful. I truly believe that his testimony would be insane. But you know whose testimony I think is going to be diabolic?
Yes, Tess.
I'll be sure. I'll be sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Let me tell you something. Albie got to know some tea.
But is he gonna spill it?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I could listen. When he kept saying, "Did he try to kill me?" Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Him and it's interesting to see if Jamie Foxx will testify too.
Yeah. I feel like, man, how are all these people
Thank you for the
testifying?
gifts.
How are all these people testifying? Would you? I wouldn't even want to sit on the damn jury.
Let me tell you
Because
something.
let me tell you something.
I would have given every excuse in the book why I couldn't be on the jury. I would have been like, look, if you got arrested, I think you're guilty, so I'm the wrong person. I would have said, oh, he has black hair. He's guilty. No, I would have made
everyone's guilty.
think
They're all guilty.
Biased person. I would have said, I don't like criminals. Like I would have said anything to not end up on that jury because, okay, you noticed that there was a lot of juries that dropped out, right?
Yeah.
How you know he didn't have skyscrapers over their house? Like, show up and see what happened.
That's what I'm saying. Like, first of all, think about how pissed off that he's going to be if he gets locked up. Well, number one, I don't think he's spending the rest of his life in jail. It's not going to happen, regardless of whether, you know what I mean? It's just he's not going to spend years in jail.
Unless he gets those state, unless it's...
But even if he gets convicted, even if he gets the sentence, he is not going to live in jail. He's just not. He's too much of a narcissist. That's not his life.
What do you think he'll end it? I believe that. Now, I actually didn't think it would get this far.
In fact, I was just going to say that I think that he may end it before a conviction even happens. If he thinks it's going the wrong way, I think that's when he would end it because he's not going down with that being the last thing that happened to him. He's going to go down with the story that he made not the story that's about to happen.
Now
So
that
before conviction can ever be made and change his narrative on who he is, yeah.
I actually do, but you know what? Here's the thing. The only reason why the only reason why I don't think that, like partially, like maybe about 40%, the only reason is because I believe in his head, he believes that he would appeal it and get it to the Supreme Court. That's where his boys are. Remember,
what?
these are the people that were partying with him.
Maybe.
That's the only reason why I think he wouldn't do it.
So I don't think that Diddy paid Justin Bieber to stay quiet. Someone just asked that in the chat. No,
No, I think it's a loyalty thing. I think he, as a
think it's a
man,
fear. I think it's a fear thing.
I think he has a
Fucking
sense
scared.
that, and I think he has a sense of a loyalty because when I saw the video of him and Diddy speaking, he seemed very
Scared?
No, he seemed very docile.
Yeah. Like
And
timid.
yeah, it kind of like a superiority type of thing.
Right.
Um, and of course, Diddy has always had people view him like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if I truly think that is just fair. I think that he has like a sense of some type
Trauma
of
bonding. Andrew said some kind of trauma bonding. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess when you look at it that way, yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense.
Because that video, I have to find it for you and send it to you. But when you see it, I think you'll be like, okay, I see what you're talking about. Now, I also think what will be very interesting is to see who else testifies that has worked with him.
Yeah. Yep.
And do you think that any other artists will come forward?
I don't know. I feel like people want to come forward, but I feel like there's too much of a, if he gets out, I'm dead.
I mean, listen, I just don't. I think at this point in the game, I think people know that he's not really going to get out.
Yeah.
Because before, the thing with, so when you look at this, this is not like your typical RICO, right?
No.
And I think that that's what's kind of throwing people off. But when you see how he operates, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they don't want to lock up a lot of the people that were like his little yes men.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the people, because
Yeah.
they've gotten them all to testify.
Right. They're probably owing him something. They're probably owing him something. I feel like the whole RICO charge thing, though, that I need them to wrap it tightly in a nice
Well,
little.
I think they're pretty close. I think they're pretty close.
Rolling out the red carpet to lay it all out there. I think they're setting the precedent, like this is who he is.
Thank
But
you.
I need something slam dunk. You know what I mean? I
Like
feel
something like so, and see, that's the thing with it is that I think it's going to be very interesting to see what comes up. But I do think where Capricorn said they put her in that building, made her take a lie detector test, and said if you fail, they're going to throw you in the East River. I think that is pretty, it gives mafia-esque, right?
Yeah.
So I think that that's like sort of that. I think Regina Ventura's statement, I think
Yeah.
Cuddy's car,
Oh my
That
gosh.
one's big.
Yeah.
Although it could be perceived in other ways, but that is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. It is all part of RICO. I feel like it's just not wrapped tightly enough for me. I want it to be slam dunk, and I
Right.
feel
Something where it's like, you know, for
all of
sure.
this is kind of on the fence. However, someone just said it in the chat too, and I've said this before, they're setting their game up, but the last ones to testify are going to be the most impactful. They want the jury to hear the most incriminating evidence last. And that's why that's what you got to watch out for. Who are the last few to testify? That's
First,
going to be the biggest.
the fact that his attorneys filed something basically saying the prosecution passed the deadline and they keep throwing up evidence, y'all need to slow down because
Yep.
we can't keep up. That man got like 8 attorneys. Y'all can't keep up.
Right.
Yes,
But
they're telling you right there, we're drowning.
But this, at the same point, though, here the attorney's trying to do their damn job, and they can't because you got Diddy controlling it all, which is wild. Why hire attorneys if you're not going to listen to them? Why not represent yourself then?
But Ivory, let's be real. Like, let's just break it down real quick, right? He wanted a speedy trial.
Yeah.
They've been investigating him for 10 years. Hey, dating back 28 years.
Right.
Why on God's green earth would you want a speedy trial? There's no way you can go through 28 years
All
of
of that
your crimes.
evidence.
I don't care how many attorneys you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to go through those with a fine tooth comb and have an answer for everything. That's why the
Yeah.
defense is like, slow down. You're producing too much evidence because they didn't have enough time to prepare. They needed at least
Yeah.
2 years to prepare for that.
Yes, I agree.
Minimum. And 2 years of working every single day.
Yep.
Because you literally have to go through it with, in fact, I would venture to say, I would say to one attorney, okay, I need you to take this year, this year, this year, and this year. You take this year, and this
Right.
year, and break
Yeah.
it down into, because you have to go through it with a fine tooth comb.
So why do you think that? What's up with the speedy trial?
I think he thought if he got I think he, in his mind, he was not going to be convicted. I don't think he thought they had as much evidence. And in his head, if I have a speedy trial, it's the quicker I get out of here.
Man, possibly, yeah.
I don't believe he
Yeah,
believed he'd be
thank you
there.
so much.
I think once he realized he wasn't going to get a bond, and you have to also think, technically he had only 3 bond hearings, but the request for bond was 4, right?
Right.
You had your defense focus on getting you bond 4 times. They could have focused that same time on the trial, but you wasted that time and still requested a speedy trial. No, he legitimately thought that he was going to get off. That's why he's in the courtroom like, oh my gosh, because he was not expecting this.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, what's the name? I think her name is Latoya, or I can't remember. But I don't trust her because she said Diddy didn't do anything to Kim Porter.
Oh, come on.
If we saw what he did on that video in the hotel, at the hotel to Cassie, you think he didn't do nothing to Kim Porter? Only a fool would think that.
Yep. Yeah, that's crap.
He did worse to Kim Porter because he had kids by her.
Yeah.
If you really want to be real, I'm sure he did far worse to Kim Porter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Melissa, you're absolutely right. I don't know.
And it kind of makes me not wonder, what did those girls see?
I don't know. You have to wonder, they know who their father is.
Wait, he broke Kim Porter's nose on vacation?
Who did? When?
Stephanie in the chat just said that. I didn't see that.
Oh, he's
Where did
definitely really responsible for a lot of unalivings.
I just don't think he thinks it's going to come out, but I think the feds have solid proof.
First of all, who gets picked up and arrested in a hotel preparing for a freak-off? That right there, you should be locked away just for having that kind of freaking gall. I'm just saying. Like, you got arrested, you got picked up that night in a hotel with, what was in the hotel?
The baby oil,
two AR-15s, the lube, the baby oil, MDMA, the rugs, all of it. The shoes, the outfits, all of it. I mean, all of it.
Thank you for tapping the screen, y'all. Yeah, that just shows you.
Off, man. That's wild.
That literally shows you where he knew he was going to get locked up and still was like, I can just do what I want. Yeah.
Who cares that anybody's watching me? I'm going to continue doing my thing because, well, I'm Diddy.
Yeah. And I'm good.
You know, like, get the baby oil warmed up. Get it rolling. Like, jump in a pool. I mean, come on. They were filling pools. And you know what, though? I'm going to talk about his Tootsie Roll, okay?
First of all, did you see what Nancy Grace said about it?
Nancy Grace is my... I love that woman, man. I love that woman. Because let me tell you,
shady.
They're unwrapping the Tootsie Roll and being like, ugh, I lost my appetite. I don't want it. It's a little Tootsie Roll.
Like, oh my gosh.
But at this point, I think it's so small it's poking inwards at this point because it makes
like so much of a narcissist.
And why it's always like, think about it though. He's always doing the watching. He's always doing, you know what I mean? Like, why are you watching and not involving yourself? I mean, although I know that's a thing, don't get me wrong. However, you can't have people out there talking about how Diddy's got an itty bitty.
Did you see how he was dressed up as a Muslim woman one day? What is happening?
I mean, there's freak and then there's freak. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't even know if you consider that a freak. I feel like that is...
It's not a freak, it's just a freak.
I mean, just... would you ever dress like a Muslim man to watch?
No.
Think about how far-fetched that sounds. That's further than freak.
I get the whole watching. But the dressing up...
So you couldn't dress at Chucky?
That's what I'm saying. It's the whole, like, what role were you playing?
You couldn't be a cat? You couldn't be...
Why are you never involved in any of this? Why are you always just there? There's so many questions. Like the rules, you know what I mean? It's, yeah. He did want people to know who he was. He also didn't want people to know what it was, in my opinion.
Right.
Because he was proud of himself and he had something to back.
He just said, I love
out there screwing everybody. Let's be real.
He could have easily had Cassie say, I love mascots.
Right.
That would seem a little bit more normal than a Muslim woman sitting in the corner because generally Muslims are not.
No. But then again, is that a power trip? Is that some weird controlling power trip? Like, you know what I mean? Muslims are not about that. And maybe that was his way of being like, this is my power trip. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I mean, that it could be it. But the whole thing's just odd. Everything about it is odd.
That's what I'm saying. He's sick. There's something sick and twisted about all of that.
Okay, let's be real. I think his mama was the original diddler.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Something happened there. Because
I can never
Something
look at it.
happened there, and something happened with Clive Davis.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Clive Davis. But they're not even going to go there.
They already warmed up the casket for
What is he,
him.
94? Yeah.
Yeah, he's first of all, he
Yeah.
claimed he has dementia. I almost feel like he paid a doctor to diagnose him with
I would,
dementia
I
because he
would.
was like, when they asked him,
Believable as hell.
"How do you feel about Diddy getting locked up?" He
I don't
said,
remember.
He didn't come across like someone that actually did not remember. He said
Yep.
it as though, who? As in, don't ask me about that.
Yep. And he can totally get away with it because he's 90 freaking 4. And nobody's going to question any of it. And,
No.
you know what I mean?
They're
Good
not
for
even
him.
going to put him on
He's gonna
trial
make all that crap.
because, I mean, well, look how old he is.
Yeah. Yep.
So who's going to put him on trial?
So who did?
I'm telling you, I think Clive Davis and his mama had something about his mama don't sit right to me.
Yeah.
Something
Hey, Angie, thank you for the follow.
about something seems off. I don't know what it is.
Maybe
Just
that's
how could you even sit in a courtroom knowing all of the stuff that you're hearing? I'm talking about his daughters too, though, because for them, do you understand the level of therapy they're going to end up? Like, that's stressful.
How much do
I
they
feel
know?
so bad for them.
What do they know? What have they witnessed? Were they questioned?
I don't think they would have because I almost feel like they know that he has really manipulated them, which is why I say this is going to be very interesting because they have been in the courtroom and all of the things that are coming out and seeing the proof. You know, to us, this is Diddy on trial, right? But to them,
Yeah.
it's their dad.
Yeah.
And I think for them, it's going to be a really tough pill to swallow, to accept that. Because even think about your dating life after that. You normally date men like your dad.
Right.
So now you have to come to the realization that you totally have to reprogram yourself.
What about his sons?
Let me tell you something. I think Christian is his little protege. I'm sure he's done a lot of what
Daddy
he
did.
might take the heat for it. Diddy might take the heat for it, and Christian may be able to live. But I hope he would take this as a lesson
Yeah.
because he could end up just like that.
Yep.
But you never really know.
I don't know. I think this whole thing is a freaking mess, but I need to know what happens. It's like watching one of those, you guys know what I'm talking about, those action-packed movies where it's like so suspenseful. You just mad and you want to fast forward it because you're like, you can't do suspense anymore. I just want to know what happens. I feel like I want to read the end of the book and then go back to the beginning at this point. I need to know.
And it doesn't feel like just Diddy is on trial. It feels like hip hop on a whole is on trial. And I think, like, I had to really sit and ask myself, like, why do you feel like that? And when I think about it,
Because
Diddy made hip hop an industry.
He did. Mm-hmm.
You know, like he literally curated what hip hop looked like.
Yeah.
And when you think, like, he was the first person in hip hop that you saw flying private jets, popping champagne, came out with his own clothing line. Everybody, like, to see that, and there's so many people that got to where they are today because of him.
Yeah.
And when you look at that and to see this, I think it's really crazy.
It is. And then just think about how many people, though, could go down with him. It can bring the whole industry would have to rebrand itself. That's really, I mean, and then
And
it's
not
sad.
even just New York
Think about
or
it.
LA.
And I don't, let me tell you something. I think he's a piece of crap. Okay, there's nobody who thinks he's
Oh
more of a
yeah,
piece of
no, yeah.
But
He's
it almost feels like the end of an era. You know what I mean? Because they're all going to go down with him, whether they're found guilty, whether they're charged, whether they're not. We all know, and it's like it's over. It's never
and
going
it's
to be the
not
same
even
again.
I know a lot of people think it's going to be like New York, LA, Miami. But if you really think about it, music really started booming out of Atlanta back in 05, 06, right? Even Little Scrappy did an interview and said he went to a party and he was like, when I tell you everybody was there, everybody was there. So when you think about that, just think like it's going to even trickle down into the South where music really, because New York had music on lock up until like 05.
Right.
Well, I would
Yep.
say I feel like when Ludacris came out with I Wanna Lick You From Your, that,
Yeah.
or you know what? When I started college, I remember the song that came out was Welcome to Atlanta where the players play. And when I went to college in Atlanta and I came off the plane, I remember playing that and I was like, Welcome to Atlanta where the players play. When I think that's literally that, and when it was like lean with it, rock with it, lean with it, rock with it, all of that came out right then. And
Someone just said it's so many elites. It's not just the musicians. Yeah, I agree with that too.
yes,
It incorporated so many different industries
movie
into
stars.
one. Yep.
Like it's going to be some stuff that I think people really aren't privy to. Like I think even the people that know what was going on still don't know what was going on.
Politicians are involved. The amount of people involved in all of this that's going down is just wild. But it took all of these different industries and it brought them people together, which was a great thing to see. And that's why it's almost sad to see because it's an end of an era. You know what I mean? It's never going to be the same. However, it just sucks that it was under these pretenses.
Fast and Furious franchise did not put Atlanta on the map. It was definitely the music. Like it was not Fast and Furious. That it was definitely the music. It was definitely the music.
He was in the Epstein crew? Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you know who I think might get caught up this time?
Who?
Naami Campbell.
Yeah.
She was allegedly chilling in Epstein, partying with Diddy. Everybody thinks she's innocent, but baby girl, I think she's gonna get caught up.
You think so?
Yeah, she was in everything. Hey.
He was. How many people, I mean, who do you think is gonna, even after this is all said and done, all right? I feel like this is just the beginning of all of these people going down. It's going to be wild.
Okay, I want to say one person, right? But I don't want to say their name. But their name starts with the letter before K.
Anybody else in the chat going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J? Okay.
Okay.
You guys all saying that with me.
But I do think that the way Diddy's getting caught up is not going to be the same way I feel like he kept his hand, because the difference between Diddy and him is Diddy was never a street dude.
Right.
Jay-Z was.
Yeah. I feel like
he's smarter.
Diddy was messy where, yeah, he knew.
I think his hands are a little bit cleaner, so it may be hard to like totally clean.
Yeah, I agree. But then you got him, and then you got her, and then that just opens even more doors.
I want to see if Roger Bond testifies. His security guard?
Yeah. I thought he was going to testify.
They say he is. I don't know when. But if you think Capricorn's testimony is crazy.
Do you think he will testify?
Hell yeah.
Man, you keep saying hell yeah. I'd be scared as fuck.
I think a lot of people are scared. I do think a lot of people are
I plead the
scared.
3rd. I plead the 26th, whatever, the 29th, the 30th.
But you gotta think though. The thing is,
out of here.
the catch-22 is they worked for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they know exactly what he's capable of.
So either you testify or this proof that I found on these devices, you gonna go down for it.
Yeah. Man, I feel like I take that one.
But that's what makes me think that But see, immunity is a very tricky thing. Everybody thinks when they give you immunity, that means you cannot be charged.
Yeah, it's for a very specific thing.
It is just for that charge that you are speaking on.
It could be just for A, and if you even, go to lowercase a, you're outside of that immunity line, and then that's it, it's over. And then they can renege and take
immunity back. I think people think when they hear immunity is like, okay, you go in, you could say whatever. No. You could go in there and get clinked on your way walking out that courtroom.
9 out of 10 times it's used as a ploy to get them to overtalk.
Yes.
And then they take it away. It's actually a trick.
In fact, you should really have an attorney when you do that. Yeah. And you should have it all planned out. And if you don't have the answer, you should be like, I'm not sure. I don't know. But I think just even going on the stand is tricky. And that's why I say, like, immunity is a slippery slope. Yeah. I personally, if you're giving me immunity, I feel like I need to be concerned. You can't plead the fifth on everything.
I plead the 45th if I have to, though. I just be like, I'm just not speaking, arrest me. But then you're in contempt. It's a whole, like, that's.
But not only that, you got to keep in mind. But keep in mind, these people seized 100 devices. You don't remember your text message log.
I don't remember.
You could be like, all right, bet. Bring the pew pew. I'll meet you over there.
Yeah.
You don't remember if that's on there. You're trying to remember conversations you had 20 years ago. That's why, when you really think about it, could Diddy really defend himself? Not really, because you don't remember what's on 100 devices?
No.
I don't even remember what was on my cell phone before this one.
Yeah, I don't. What is his play? What is Diddy's play?
I don't think he really has one. I think his play was to just like try to tear down credibility, but I just feel like and I think the whole mistrial thing, again, I'm gonna say this again. I really think he wants it to end up in the Supreme Court because that's where his boys are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's trying to throw the whole mistrial.
What were they trying to go with the mistrial for? What was it for?
He was saying the statements of the LA fire department, he was biased and basically impartial, and that his statement couldn't really be considered credible. But he's the fire department, right? Like, he was the one who saw the scene.
Yeah.
Like, and see, the thing with Kid Cudi's, also the fact that Capricorn said she told Cassie, hey, Diddy is at Cudi's house, to give Cudi a heads up.
Mm-hmm.
As in, Capricorn knew he was done. But I'm gonna tell you this too, y'all. When Wendy Williams went on Hot 97 and spoke to Charlemagne, she said Diddy is done. Has Wendy ever been wrong? So I would venture to say when she said done, she knew. Because remember, when Diddy went to the Wendy Williams show, he gave her flowers. They sat on that couch. Awkward. It was given fake peace treaty.
Yeah.
But Wendy knew what was up.
Yeah.
And why do you think she went from that to a facility?
Yeah.
Diddy got something to do with that too. And why is that judge so hard pressed on not letting her out that conservative shit? Oh yeah. I think you're going to see things change when he gets sentenced.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too, Patty. Yeah, I believe that.
Like, this is a tangled web.
Yeah, I just need to know. I just need to know. I can't sit. I'm just sitting here and like, man, I don't want to sit and watch.
Know if we'll know everything. And the reason why I say that is because I am telling you, they are holding out and they are going to bring additional charges. It might not be right now, though.
I agree. Well, I mean, how long did it take him to do this? When did the investigations for this start?
First of all, they say that he's paid about $10 million in attorneys. Let's be clear, okay? For Diddy to pay all those attorneys, considering they were investigating him for 10 years, dating back 28 years, you think the feds were doing that for play?
No. That's why they know they can't let him get off. They're ready.
Hell, the prosecutors know that it's done.
Yeah, they do. And they know that it's just in case we got something up our sleeve. There's no doubt about that. Because they can't let him, you don't understand, they can't let him walk.
No, do you know how many people will end up in a body bag?
Yeah, they all be floating with the fishies right now.
He probably having his boys ordering caskets right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's be real.
I'm crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I just need to know.
It's a
I want to know what's on the devices.
The devices.
I want to know what kind of devices. What do they mean by, what is a device? A device can be freaking anything.
I think he has a lot of old phones.
Yeah.
I would venture at least 10 to 12.
Cameras.
Right. Cameras. Laptops.
Yeah.
iPads.
Yeah.
You know, like, did they take his kids' phones too? Because remember, they had the sons in handcuffs.
I'm sure there's extra cell phones there for people who are working there and doing some work there. You're talking about security footage. I'm assuming that cameras are devices. Old ones.
Well, is it each camera or just the system?
And how many
the system could be considered as one? Whoa, I would venture in a house that's maybe to the street.
Stored in the cloud. So you can have your system updated multiple times, and then that's multiple.
I think that this is going to be, because also think about the fact that he backed up every Freakoff he had. Could you imagine recording your own evidence for your trial to get you convicted?
No.
Hey. Like, no, really let it sink in. Like, you turned yourself in.
You're going to be the one that brings yourself down. You're going to be the one who brings all of the evidence against you.
That's wild.
Not even these people, you can hate them as much as you want, but you brought your own evidence against you. Think about that.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Like, when you really let that sink in, you really have to sit there and say to yourself, why would someone do that?
Yeah. Katie just said, "What do you think about Todd and Julie getting pardoned?"
So
Trump
we
is not
actually
sitting
had
there.
this conversation. I actually have had this conversation like a couple of times, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, Most white collar crimes and what they did, generally they get under 8 years. I feel like them getting that much time was overkill. But I also feel like we have so much going on that we need to resolve that being a priority just seems a little crazy to me. But
First of all, it's like you said, it's the white collar crimes. Well, first of all, why the hell are you sitting home in the White House? All right, just cozying up at a desk, talking about with everything going on in the
yeah,
world.
did you see
Whether
what
or
he
not we're
just
going
did
to
with
war
Larry
with
Hoover?
Russia and Korea and all these people and all of these things and walls and this and that, and you're sitting
But
home going,
Larry
let this
Hoover.
one out, let this one out. Oh yeah, this one too.
But
Like
Larry
this.
Hoover?
But that's what I don't get. Well, first of all, they didn't pardon him.
No,
However,
I mean it's
like you
he
said,
served
white
50
collar
something years.
crimes is crazy. You know what I mean? Because let's be real, there are people out there that got longer sentences for white collar crimes and for financial crimes than Gypsy Rose got for murdering her mother, right? And that's the truth. So I kind of get that when you're sitting there and talking about like, fraud and all this and money, like, and you got 60 years or whatever the case is, or 30 years, and this chick just walked out with 8 years for murder, then I kind of get that. However, the bodies that were behind that, how many life sentences did he get convicted of? 6? What the
That man
hell?
was serving 150 to 200
What the hell
years.
is, yeah, what the
And
hell?
not only was he serving that time, he caught charges for organizing crime while he was serving that time.
Right. But so someone just said he didn't
You
get the
can't tell me
pardon.
that's a redemption story.
Right. He didn't get the pardon. However, he did get a what do you want to call it? Like a reformation of
A
his sentence,
reform.
like this
But,
day.
but,
More comfortable.
no, but here's the catch. It puts pressure on the state to reduce his
These
sentence.
yeah.
Furthermore, the
He got
governor of
what,
Illinois,
2 years.
he's been trying to get the governor out anyway.
Right. Right.
That gives him a better chance.
But I just feel like with that much time, they can cut your sentence in half. You're still dying in prison. So go ahead.
I actually
Cut it
think
in
they
half.
would reduce it and let him walk. I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow.
And I know it sounds crazy, but it sounds even crazier that his was his
For
federal thing.
possibility. Like, think about it. We're just going to give him a little bit better.
Larry Hoover. Okay.
That's so
And
funny.
in case you don't remember who he is, he was known as one of the biggest gang affiliations ever. And remember that song? I think I'm Big Meech. I think I'm Larry Hoover. That's who they talking about. Okay, like that's how real this is. Like, if you knew how asinine this was, it's unhinged. I don't know. Like, I was honestly, I had to clean my glasses when I was reading that article. Like straight up clean up.
Yeah.
Because then I think I'm not understanding what I'm reading.
He's just sitting home. How many people did he pardon? Do we have a count yet? Is he just home signing?
Did you see NBA YoungBoy?
That's wild. He's just sitting there pardoning everybody. I don't even know. All the shit we got going on.
With the Chrisleys, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not mad about that.
Oh,
I'm not mad about that. I'm not. I feel like the Chrisleys, you know, it's a what?
exotic.
I mean, now, baby.
What do you think about that
Now,
plan?
if Joe Exotic gets out, honestly, we don't know what we're going to wake up till tomorrow. Let's be real. Like, we don't even know. Like, we don't know.
I feel like, yeah, that would be wild. Yeah, I don't know. Man.
If you know what, if Joe Exotic got out,
Free Joe.
I think at this point nothing would surprise me.
No. No.
I would want to say I'd be surprised, but I think Larry Hoover was the one who surprised me. Anything after that,
It'll all
I
be
don't think I'd be surprised. And I think what's interesting, I want y'all to hear this. Larry Hoover was said to be committing what is that? A criminal enterprise.
Oh.
Doesn't that sound familiar?
Hmm. Wow.
Which is why I think they're keeping, I'm telling you, those Kei D's trial was postponed.
A year and a half.
Because
Yeah,
I think they, in their mind, they said if we don't get his ass, we already have him tied to this, because they had it on record for years.
Yeah.
And Kim Porter's, I don't believe he's going to get away with her.
Do you think? Yeah, but
I'm telling you.
you think it's going to be brought up in the trial?
Them devices. Remember, they said additional charges could be added.
Right. But
They said that to let him know, I have your ass.
I feel like, I don't know if they're going to bring Kim Porter into it this go around or this.
No, I don't. And I think that that's going to be, and I also think if Kim Porter, I think that will be state.
Tupac,
And I think they'll intentionally do state because he'll have to serve that.
Yeah. Yep. Or they will be stacking. Yeah, the feds don't F around. No, I agree.
No, when the feds have you, they have
You're
the
done.
feds.
They're
The
not gonna
feds
protect
aren't
the
like
money.
the state.
Look at their investigation. Look at the years and the time and the money. They're not just going to be like, oh, we're going to roll the dice and see if this sticks. No, they're making it stick. They don't have a clue.
The feds are not like the state,
No,
where
they don't
the
have.
state will arrest you and do a full investigation while you're incarcerated.
Yep.
The feds, they do their investigation and then they pick your ass up.
Yep.
So when they have you, they already have their evidence. They don't need anything else. Thank you, but no thank you for any more evidence. That's why when you think about it, they raided Diddy's house back in what, February? They picked him up in September. They went through all that.
Yep.
They knew exactly what they had.
Dude, I feel like there's so much going on right now with everything. There's so much going on in the.
Girl, I feel like I have my head on a swivel.
You got, I mean, all of it. You got, I feel like there's so much going on that you can't keep up with all the cases, all of the things.
Did someone have the feds on the inside? I wouldn't be surprised, but I also would venture to say
they're going to be careful. They're not going to go there. They know.
And I guarantee you there's at least one investigator that has been investigating this that said, we're going to do you one, Tupac.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, we gonna get him. We got you, big homie. Like somebody is like, nah, we gonna get
you guys. Sorry.
I could guarantee you that. Somebody.
All right, let's move on to the next thing. What's going on with the Karen Reed trial? Man, did you? All right. Have you all seen the freaking witness from the?
Wait, what's about the guy who said that he wasn't certified? Like he wasn't certified.
Wait, what's the name of the company? It's something. Oh, guys, come on! What's the name of the company? The head guy testified today. It's the the other guy, the Adturva, whatever
Yeah.
company that is, that guy was so pissed off when he testified today because it was the boss of the other guy, and he's so mad that his company is like under scrutiny now because let's be real. How do you call yourself a forensics expert? Okay,
and he's not an expert.
What do you? Well, maybe on a high school level because he's sitting there on his LinkedIn and on his company website and putting that he has these degrees that he aperture. Yeah, Susie, that's it. Putting these degrees that he never had. Like,
that man got the degrees from a Cracker Jack's box. Okay.
First of all, how can the prosecution call him? You didn't vet your own witness. You didn't check that guy out to make sure that he actually did. He graduate high school? Do we even know that? Did anybody look into that?
The prosecution said we gonna just take our chances. Okay. We just gonna test it out and see what we end up with. We don't ask any questions.
Yeah, and then someone just mentioned the clothes he was wearing. What's up with those sneakers? Why were the sneaker, the evidence bags?
Nothing adds
How did they
up.
have the wrong sneaker in it?
Nothing. Everything about this Karen Reed case, nothing adds up. 1 + 1 is 2, not 25. Hold on, I'll be right back.
No, I saw that. Oh, Katie, that's another thing that just came out. I was saying that before. The Sherry Papini. You guys remember Sherry Papini just came out with that documentary? Do you guys remember who Sherry Papini is? That's the lady who faked her kidnapping. And then she admitted that it was a fake. Didn't she go to jail for it? Now she's back out talking about it was the boyfriend or the ex-boyfriend or the ex that did it. Now she's back saying it was the ex that did it. Y'all, there's just so much going on. I'm sitting here trying to do content. I'm like, what do I do? It's just so overwhelming because I got so much. It's so funny with all of it. You got Sherry, Gypsy, Cassie. Yeah, I'm telling you. All of it. Ruby Frankie can hop on that one. You know what I mean? It's wild. Absolutely wild. I think it's so funny. Thank you, Anne-Marie. I appreciate you being here. Oh, guys, look at that. That's awesome. 150. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all. Man, Susie, I'm with you on the Karen Reed. Yeah, canceled has been like, yeah, she's been sitting there watching it to me. I can't watch during the day too much, but she's been sitting there like, I've been watching the Karen Reed trial. It's just crazy to watch what's going on. There's too much reasonable doubt. There's no way. And then for people to sit there, you know what gets me is that people with Karen Reed are just like, you mean to tell me all these cops and all these investigators and federal agents all just are trying to pin this on Karen Reed, like all of this corruption? Let me tell you something, guys. Corruption happens all of the time. We see it everywhere. Corruption amongst law enforcement is a big thing. It happens all the time. You have, you know what I mean? Like, you got gangs inside police stations, inside police departments, inside whole, like, city. I mean, think about that. You mean to tell me they're running their own little undercover gangs? You mean to tell me you don't think that these people from this small little town, all the brothers, okay, backing each other isn't a real thing? When you have actual, like, gangs inside police forces that back each other, you think this can't happen? I think it's wild.
No, and I mean, it doesn't seem, okay, look, I could see if it seemed far-fetched if it was just one off. Or just maybe two off. The whole trial, the very foundation of the trial, they're saying, oh, it was just an unintentional lie how we got this indictment.
Right. Like, I didn't mean to lie. I accidentally lied. What the hell does that even mean? It screams corruption. It screams cover-up.
Mm-hmm.
If a cover-up didn't happen, then somebody did a really damn good job of painting it like that, because that's what it looks like. Just watching the trial, forget the evidence they're bringing in or the lack thereof. Forget just watching the testimonies that the prosecution's witnesses.
The prosecution's witnesses have been horrible.
They're handing the case right over to the defense. They are handing. First of all, let's get real with bias Bev. Okay, that judge has got to go. I don't see how anybody doesn't see the fact that that woman should
The
not be in
amount of
charge.
sidebars she calls, it should be illegal.
See, so that ceiling fan has been my best friend for like weeks now, and I'm just so sick of seeing it though. Like, how many sidebars
No,
can you call?
literally.
And then they're trying to get with the whole jury thing. Like, come on, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna talk to them because they were talking. Like, dude, the prosecution's boring. The guy can't question.
Oh, he
doesn't know what
cannot
he's doing.
tell a story.
The fact that you brought him on for this case is wild, because they're dying of boredom before they even get to
Literally.
the defense cross-examining, and then Alan Jackson and Yannetti and all these people are putting on this beautiful show that's so wildly entertaining just to watch them all get caught in lies, that even if you forget the evidence and everything else, they're going to remember the defense's what the defense said, because it was at least entertaining. Does that make sense?
And this defense, first of all, this is a strong defense.
Yeah.
It's not like she got a play defense.
No way. Man, if I ever get caught doing something wild, I want that team. That's who I want.
Yeah, because they're solid.
That's who Diddy should have had.
Listen, I don't care who Diddy had. He was going down. Even them didn't have
I don't
nothing.
know. You put Alan Jackson on the Diddy's trial? I don't know. Maybe he could put on a show. I don't know.
But listen, I bet you he would have at least threw some monkey bars in the statements.
Yeah. And you know what, Susan?
At
Right.
least paused. Maybe
They
paused.
contacted her to pick up this case screams a lot. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. And then don't even get me on the whole Turtle Boy thing. Have you guys been following that whole situation?
So I don't know that much about Turtle Boy because I briefly.
So wasn't he indicted for threatening witnesses?
Mm-hmm.
He was indicted for threatening Chris Albert and Colin Albert, I believe. Am I right in saying that?
But where's the proof of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's wild. I think the whole going after Turtle Boy was the one who brought this out. Like, let's be real.
The feds are going to come for all of them people.
Yeah. He gave this case a face. He gave it the whole corruption label. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. That poor guy's going through the mill right now, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. I totally. But when he's vindicated, he's going to be really vindicated and probably be able to sue them.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think, it's just weird. But we've got so much going on. The Sherry Papini thing, I can't stop laughing. I'm just like, how are you going to sit there?
That's insane.
Say that you were kidnapped, then you weren't kidnapped. You went to jail. How long did she go to jail for? A couple years. Then she comes out. Got a whole new documentary based on the fact that now it was her ex.
It's given Gypsy Rose.
That kidnapped her, and she's going to run with that story. It's wild. It's wild. But it is. It's giving Gypsy Rose. I'm going to make money off my story regardless of who wants to believe what.
But that's why I'm kind of happy that the Chrisleys are out, because Lifetime is now focusing on them.
Yeah.
They're like, Gypsy who?
Out of the spotlight. Yep.
Because nobody... Listen.
This makes me wonder, are they picking up season 3? They may be filming it.
Lifetime can't keep
it up.
Lifetime can't keep people's attention watching Gypsy.
Yeah.
And with the Chrisleys being out, they're like, thanks for everything, Jip, but we out of here.
Here's your hat, what's your hurry, bye.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I agree with that.
I think if they put her on anything, they're going to put her on Life After Lockup with everybody else. She won't be the main character.
She'll be the love after lockup. Except let's be real, guys. Does anybody, and I'm not saying because I know fact. Let me start off by saying that, because you know somebody's screen recording this and going to run with the nonsense. However, I'm saying this is my opinion, only my opinion, and I can tell you why I believe it, but I've got nothing to prove it. But does anybody think that Ken and Gypsy aren't together right now?
Listen, I've been telling you it's an app.
I mean, and the reason why I'm saying this is because if you go look at that video with the notes, right? where she's, Ken hasn't been, he goes 2 to 3 weeks without seeing her. Does he really? Why? Why is he going 2 to 3 weeks? He doesn't go to work until 4:30 at night. That's what you said in one video, right? He was leaving for work at 4:30 at night. Now all of a sudden he goes.
She also says she spends 2 or 3 days at his house a week. So which one is it?
Right. And then you're sitting there saying he went 2 to 3 weeks without seeing the baby, and he doesn't see her so often because he's working so much. I mean, what is he now? A rocket scientist? Like, what kind of job did he get that he's never home? Okay, and let's be real. You don't know how many ounces of formula your baby drinks. He's MIA so much that he doesn't know how much she drinks, or, I mean, that's wild to me. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
I think that's a crock of crap because we saw him on the lives. I don't know. I just feel like, we know that she emotionally cheated on Ken with Ryan. We know that. All right, that's fact. So I just feel like, did Ken really just be like, oh, that's okay. That's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. I feel like that's
It's
why.
going to be very, very interesting.
All of the stories
Right.
in these videos are contradicting themselves. It's wild.
It
Absolutely
is.
wild.
Like everything about it is contradicting itself. And that's really the question is like, but I also think that's the issue with Lifetime is that we're not going to be able to keep up with you. You're not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough people want to watch this for us to, but I do think they want to be there for the crash out, which is why I think they would put her on Life After Lockup. Because I
Yeah.
feel like they haven't made their money back off of the show and the ratings have consistently went down.
Dropped. Yep. I agree. I feel like they may film it. I don't know if they're going to actually pick it up yet, though. I'm sure there's no paperwork signed there.
No, I think if it was, I think also that YouTube was an indication that things weren't really going.
Yeah, she's broke. I'm just going to put that out there. She's broke. So, and yes, Ryan is going live tomorrow
I'm here for
to
it.
speak his piece at 8 p.m., y'all. So everyone, make sure you're over there. Give him all of the support that we can because I feel like she did him really dirty and he deserves a place to speak his piece. So yeah, everyone make sure you're over there and give him
Yes.
support. I feel like he deserves it.
I don't think, well, who knows if she's pregnant. But all right, y'all, need to go take a shower and stuff. So hey, from Greece.
Oh.
So I will talk. I mean, I think they'll do a live either tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna.
We're
I
gonna have a lot
definitely.
of updates.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk
I
about
just
like
seen
what.
something, but I'll talk to you about it offline before we even talk about it on here because I think it's crazy.
All right.